Welcome back, everybody, to another post-commentary feature match. Here we are in round 4 of 4 from locals. We have a very interesting matchup for you guys. I apologize if I'm a little bit quiet. My voice is a bit shot right now, and just need to get this commentary done for the night. But yeah, pretty exciting match, though. I wanted to grab this one specifically because of the Generaider deck being featured on the right. A deck that hasn't been on the channel, a new archetype out of the Mystic Fighter set versus Infernoids, a deck that hasn't been on the channel probably in quite some time. I used to play and cover the deck a lot because, as I said, I played Zoo Infernoid, played Pure Infernoid, a whole lot of different variants way back in the day, and had a ton of fun with it. So getting started, our Generaider player is going to go first, set 4 back row, and one of those back row just so happens to be the Generaider boss fight trap, which is basically Metaverse that activates one Generaider field spell directly from the deck or graveyard, then allows your opponent to draw a card, which will trigger the effect of the Generaider boss stage, which says when the opponent adds a card from the deck to hand, you can special summon a Generaider monster from your deck, which is really key. But we'll see here a Trickstar Reincarnation being chained, as well as a Drone Lock, which could spell the game here. But our Infernoid player has probably what I could consider the most clutch Psyframe Gear Gamma that I have seen in quite some time. Because if that Reincarnation Droll would have gone through, the game is over. It would have 100% been over, but the Droll will not go through, allowing him to draw into a brand new hand of 6 cards. Although he did banish some good cards, I can say that for sure. Looks like 2 Layer of Darknesses and a Monster Gate. Looks like he may have picked up a Void Imagination, which won't do him too good right now. So everything resolving here, and now the field spell getting to resolve to summon out a Generaider monster from deck. He's going to go for the Generaider Boss of Ice, which basically can negate a special summon or special summons. So a very good card for the deck, one of the better ones in my opinion. And then going to be able to activate the field spell effect, the second effect of the field spell, which will allow him to special summon as many tokens as possible if he summons a Generaider monster. And in response to that summon, he's going to be able to activate the World Legacy Monstrosity, which is going to allow him to target level 9 on the field and summon out 2 from deck with different types and attributes, I believe. So going for the Nightmare Corruptor Idli, or the Nightmare Incarnation Idli, and the Herodi Generaider Boss of Swords, which is the Generaider that allows you to tribute any number of warrior or Generaider monsters on your field, and destroy that same amount of monsters on your opponent's side of the field, and they get to draw a card for each. They can draw a card for each. It is optional, so they don't have to draw if they don't want to, which is where, again, I talked about it in the Mystic Fighter set review. That's why some cards like Appropriate and Heavy Slump can actually be pretty cool in this deck, because as it stands, our opponent has 6 cards in their hand. And if you wanted to, this would be the perfect setup. He could tribute both those tokens to blow up both the Gamma and the Driver, make him draw 2 more cards, because assuming he wouldn't know the Heavy Slump is set, and Heavy Slump activates, put all 8 cards back into the deck and only draw 2. And you've got yourself a game-winning play right there that most people will not see coming. A quick 1-2 punch, which is like really, really cool, and one of the reasons I kind of want to try playing this deck, just to see how often I can pull off that play. Now, to be honest, it's pretty gimmicky, but nonetheless, if a gimmick can win you a game, it wins you a game. Now, linking off the basically free link fodder that the Psyframe package has provided here for the Infernoid player, going to take full advantage of it to go into a link monster. Now, one thing we know about Infernoids is that they have summoning restrictions based off on what levels are currently on your field, levels or ranks, and of course link monsters do not have either of those, which makes them pretty desirable for Infernoids. I think this is one of those decks that inherently got a buff as Master Rule 4 came out. which is really cool because Infernoid has always been a favorite deck of mine, and so it's nice to see that the deck is still doing well in this format. So it looks like we will see a Nightmare Phoenix hit the board, but that Generaider Boss of Ice is going to attempt to negate the summon. The players were debating here on whether or not the Phoenix actually hits the board, and it technically doesn't hit the field since the summon is negated, so technically he can still use Gamma since it's technically not on the field. I'm not exactly sure how that would work. I'm not a judge. So the Call by the Grave is burned on the Gamma regardless to make sure it doesn't go through a second time, because Gamma is not a hard once per turn, and he still has that driver in his grave. So getting some nice advantage there out of that basically walking Solemn Strike that the Generaider Boss of Ice is. And our opponent seemingly realizing that that field spell is a pretty pivotal. Let me try and say that again. A pretty pivotal, important, part of this deck strategy. And he's going to try to remove it now with Petrulia to be able to destroy a spell trap on the field, and it makes it so it cannot attack the rest of the turn. And there's that third copy of Lair of Darkness. And as the field spell will resolve, regardless of whether it is on the field or not during the end phase, all the tokens will get destroyed. And one thing about Nightmare Corruptor Idli, it will also protect all the other level 9 monsters on the field from being destroyed. So World Legacy Monstrosity will not take any effect here in the end phase. When I was watching this back a day or two ago, I realized, I'm like, why aren't all these cards destroyed yet? Because of World Legacy Monstrosity. But Idli has that built-in protection, which is why it's so desirable to play as a level 9 target for this deck. So we're going to go into battle phase. The Boss of Ice is going to swing in for a whopping 300 over that 1800 attack Petrulia and that 2100 attack Generaider Boss of Ice. I forget its first name. I don't want to butcher it. And he's going to use the Petrulia to tribute and banish, and he can tribute his opponent's cards now because of Lair of Darkness. He's going to banish the field spell, making sure he cannot get it back with the trap card, actually, the Generaider Boss Fight. So as damage is being calculated here, I want to mention a quick shout out to our sponsor over at Imperium Duelist. If you guys are interested in picking up amazing sleeves, playmats, dice, etc., card gaming accessories, check them out down in the description below, and that discount code you can use to save 10% off your entire order. Also, quick reminder and an announcement, Imperium Duelist is having a Black Friday sale starting at 12 a.m. this Thursday, the 28th, on Thanksgiving, 12 a.m. on Thursday. That'll be going all the way through the weekend. Some amazing deals going to be happening on their site, so check that out. Do not miss that. I'll probably post about it in other places as well. So yeah, lots of deals and some new products coming as well, so keep on the lookout for that. And also, don't forget to use my affiliate link to TCG Player down in the description below as well to help support the channel when you're shopping for stuff this holiday for singles and sealed product. But yeah, getting back to the game here, it looks like Enter Blathnir is going to be summoned and going to use its effect now, I believe. Checking the card here. Going to actually banish the Lair of Darkness as it activates its effect. It actually has 4 different effects it can activate. Banish a card your opponent controls, banish 1 random card from your opponent's hand, banish 1 card from your opponent's graveyard, or banish the top card of your opponent's deck face up. And that banish 1 card your opponent controls does not target either, which is really nice. And that Avoid Imagination that we saw him draw into off that reincarnation being activated here, which is super unfortunate. He's gone into the extra deck. I mean, if you're in the situation the Generaider player is in, you know you're playing against Infernoids. You know a card like Void Imagination exists, so you could potentially play around it and just not go into the extra deck. And maybe just kind of hope to stall for another turn and put more damage on, but that is a bit of a risk in and of itself. Because, you could top deck a Monster Gate, a Decatron, etc., and then, he's already having a pretty productive turn. But nonetheless, regardless of, playing around it or not, going for the Void Imagination, Tiara resolving here, Each player going to activate the same effects, which are to send 3 cards from their action deck to the graveyard, and then send the top 3 cards off the top of their deck to the graveyard. So of course 3 NTS or NTIS, whatever, going to the grave, and also loading up the graveyard completely with Infernoid monsters. I forget Tierra's other effects. I know the first 2 are based on, well, all their effects are based off what type of names that they use. Milling to evenly match into reasoning. Not the best cards to mill off the top. And it looks like a Lone Fighter, a Hell, Generator Boss of Doom, and the Generator Boss Fight Trap being milled. And then 3 NTS being milled. So we can blow up 3 cards on the field, which is pretty bad. It's a lot of cards to blow up. And including his own Tierra if he wanted to as well, because that will clear up the levels on his side of the field. So essentially fixing the one problem Infernoids have had with resolving Imagination is it puts a big level 11 monster on your field that you sometimes cannot clear. But Entis sort of fixes that problem. So we're going to see Trap Trick for Trickstar Reincarnation. And to try to fend off some plays, might as well use it. That Trap Trick is that anyways, might as well use it. Now with a loaded graveyard, he can pretty much summon whatever he wants and go for a level 8 or lower, and then follow it up with a an Anungu or Deviati. So we'll see a Sightsamus. Doesn't look like he has a Tondel in graveyard. And I think both a Tondel and Sightsamus need to attack into something for them to activate their effect, so it really doesn't make too big of a difference here. Banishing the Anungu and going all out, sort of speak. I don't know if he's banished the Tiara in his graveyard yet, but it looks like he has actually. Banishing a Deviati as well to summon out another Anungu, not using its effect, obviously. I remember back in the day, one of my favorite combos to do with Anungu was that you went back when you'd play Card Trooper, normal Card Trooper, and go into Anungu, blow up your Card Trooper, draw a card for free. This is pretty fun. He'll take a lot of damage, dropping him down to 24 as he passes it back to the Generator player. So not looking too hot. You know you have Trickstar Reincarnation, and just going to go ahead and scoop it up, drawing what looks like to be another trap for turn. So here we are in game 2, which you can tell is may or may not be pretty short. Generators going first and not opening the most optimal hand, unfortunately falling to a brick and opening 2 of the Generator Boss of Lights in his hand, the plant one, which is not a card you want to see in your hand, and doubles, at least not in this situation. And of course Infernoids opening the stones. 1-for-1's a pretty good starter card, I heard, going for none other than Decatron, discarding Atondel, the level 8 Infernoid. And fun fact about Infernoids, actually, this is something I found out a long time ago back when I played the deck, because Infernoids is like one of my favorite decks of all time. I don't know if most people know that on the channel, but the Infernoids, their names are actually, numbers 1 through 10 in different languages. I believe Deviati is like 9 in Russian or something. I could be wrong. I could be getting it mixed up, but I'm pretty sure all their names, 1 through 10 from Decatron. It might not be Decatron, but all like Permeus, the other level 1. All, based up to, level 1 through 10. And this is a bit of an interesting situation we're in right now. Would you look at this? The Infernoid player is so good. He was able to Monster Gate into an Archlord Christia and now resolving Void Vanishment, the continuous searcher that you could actually search Void Trap Hole with if you wanted to as well. Pretty spicy. Called by the Grave being used on a Tondel, but Archlord Christia is here. And as that Generator player, you gotta be sweating it a little bit. You're down a game, and you're also staring down an Archlord Christia at 2,800, which he'll swing in with gladly and drop his opponent down to 52. Sort of calling his bluff at this point. Be like, if you got something, now's the time you want to use it, because It's good. You're probably you're on a 2-turn clock right now, and not drawing into any good cards here. Not drawing into literally anything. He's gonna need something like an impermanence or removal, and that 2-turn clock. Well, I guess it would be 3 turns, because that was just 1. If he attacks again, he'll have another turn. No, it'd be 2 turns as of now. So yeah, just on a short clock, to say the least. Extravagance being resolved here. Nice thorough shuffling of the extra deck. Not really caring whatsoever what cards are banished. Swinging for 24, and this is our Infernoid player's last chance to out this Christia and make a play. Advantage just occurring on the side of our Infernoid player. Draws into a monstrosity for turn. Would be live if there wasn't a Christia on his opponent's side of the field. And unfortunately, he's got to hope that maybe he can clear that Christia and let him play, but it's going to go right to battle phase, call the bluff, and unfortunately, that is game. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. That dreaded monster gate into the Christia. Your worst nightmare as a deck that likes to special summon. Or the classic monster gate into spell canceller. Classic monster gate into insert floodgate monster here. You gotta love it. And you also hate to see it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. I apologize if my voice sounds very shot this episode, or this video, but bear with me. Don't forget to check out Imperium Duelist. Don't forget to check out TCG Player. My affiliate link to TCG Player helps out a lot. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, WinnerKill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.